Hey guys, my name is Cidiac and welcome back to another episode of our CanalTown here in City Skylines, where today it's going to be quite an exciting one. I want to expand the residential a bit more, build a few more ferry lines and get some of the areas that we're not quite reached with our transportation system. We also have a little bit of issue with the cargo that someone pointed out there could be a fix for. I've seen the problem. It's so annoying, and it's a problem I've had in other series, and I'll explain to you what it is in a moment, and I still can't believe it's not fixed, and it is an annoying system and thing. I'll go into it in just a moment, guys, but welcome back to another episode. If you are enjoying the series, please make sure you smash the like button down below. If you are new around here, make sure you do subscribe so you get notified when the next episode does come out. But I want to show you the problem before we move on in today's episode. And that is with the cargo. Yes, we're back again with the cargo. I've had issues with the cargo before. And the problem is, right, and when I loaded it up, we were chock-a-block rammed traffic for days around here. And I've noticed that, I don't know if they're going to do it right now, which is going to be hilarious. No, okay, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. Oh, don't make me look stupid. Okay, here we go. They are coming out. Any other vehicles doing this? Yes, there's a couple of vehicles here doing it. They're coming out of this cargo terminal here to drive up to go to the airport when we have this here. Now, I'm not 100% sure why they're doing it. I don't know whether it's down to the fact that this is inside the airport, so they've got to go from the inside out. I don't know, but then again, they don't have to drive through this because they can navigate here. Is it because it's a shorter route, but then why would they drive it? It makes it even longer. And then my other someone suggested saying it's down to the fact that it's the airport cargo train station. Now, if I put one of these here instead and just turn that one off, it wouldn't be as bad, I'm hoping. I don't know. It's a weird setup. It's a weird system. I don't quite understand it, why they're doing it, which can pretty much then cause issues here, and it kind of works both ways almost. I don't know if I'm going to spot it here right now. They come from the cargo train terminal, which is here. Is it this one? Sorry, no, it's from this one. So they've gone over there to then come back. It makes no sense, does it? Honestly, it makes no sense. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to test something out right now. I'm actually going to delete this. Right, we're going to do a little bit of a test run right now, guys. Delete this, place this just here, which is actually bigger than, or sticks out further than the other one. Now, if I just anarchy this in just for now, just so we got it in. So do that. I'll do that first with this one still being operational, and then I will probably then turn this off and see how it kind of runs there. But this is going to be a little bit of an experiment. We'll come back to it a little bit later in the episode. So if you got any ideas to why this is happening, please let me know. It's kind of weird. I don't get it. The speed limits are pretty much now the same. Just don't get it. I mean, I don't know why they would then train it to here to then drive the rest. It's really weird. Like I said, I do not understand. But anyway, let's just forget that for a moment. Because I want to work a little bit with this area. Now, we recently added in the brand new ferry systems, the brand new ferry lines that are now taking different routes to pick people up here, there, and everywhere. These ones come from, if I go to our ferry systems right now, you can see we have the green route and we have the orange route going back and forward through here, because we had a double stop just there. We also re-added back in this neon green line right now, which is tearing through, and it's taking a little bit of the heat off some of the areas. I want to add another one in that also implements, a little bit more of this system, and potentially going around down here to the farming area as well to give them some public transport, because we have no ability for farm workers to even get over here right now. And that's what we were going to add more ability of them to do so, which I'm also going to build a little bit more residential. Now that green line, that neon green line right now, do we have enough ferries on it? So line details. I believe we got the max on. Yeah. There's a lot of people waiting to be transported, which is why we need more additional routes going in different directions so we can take heat off other lines. So what we'll do first is we'll place down a bunch of the residential. So I'll just quickly pause for a second and squeeze all this in. So we'll get some areas start to be built up. We'll place down some ferry lines here, there, and everywhere. And hopefully we can progress onto them as these areas continue to grow. So we'll build that for now, because that will spend my residential demand. And we'll start by placing down some ferry lines here. So we're going to begin with... Now, this is the annoying bit. I've kind of got to... Do I need to implement it like that? Or... How do I do it in other areas? All the other areas, I kind of placed it or annotated it to the road, didn't I? That's kind of what I did. Now, do I need to do it around here? I feel like I'm going to have to. Yeah. What we should do then is create little T-junctions. So, rural, we've got the dirt. Seeing as we're pretty much going through here. And then if I just did like this, would be fine, right? Something like that. Would that work? That's not... There we go. Yes, it does work. So place you down just there. And we'll come back to it to change and unhook it. So if I had one stop just here, I can then implement one stop about there, one stop down there. So we can have 3 stops on the way, which is going to be glorious. And then obviously the ferry line will then go down to wherever. I'm not too 100% decided on where it's actually going to go right now. But we'll figure all this out very shortly. So if I then did this to connect you there. I don't know whether... I think this one's going to be a little bit too close. No, that also works fairly well. So that one there, and we'll implement this one here. So if I just go across like that. It's done a bridge. No bridges. There we go. So by that logic, that is also, this is going in this direction. So what I could do is obviously come in this direction because of the side of the canal it's on. Means it can then go down this side and then loop itself around like this. That is one simple route. I can do a loop this way. I can do a loop kind of going round this way. You know, it gives me great possibilities, which is what I really, really want. I can create multiple routes from this, which is quite exciting. So, actually, with that said, I might implement... Yeah, because if I'm going to do that, I'm going to add another little stop just here. Now, yeah, these stops are going to be pretty close. Why can't I do roads? If I just go here. Because if I have a route that kind of comes up here and does that way, I want one there to be kind of close to that for the transfer. So I'm going to squeeze this one in as well. Glorious. Glorious. So if I get one coming down this way, obviously we'll need one around here. So this is where I now switch into the rural style road. And we'll begin by placing one here. Oh, that's slightly off, isn't it? Which is hilarious. And then place you just there. That's fine. Nice little stop just there. We'll probably have another one down here as well. It's just a case of eventually implementing it in. So I can actually lead to have this current line stop there. Oh no, this line comes from there. So I can have a line that runs down that way, which is interesting. Very good, very good. So if I was to build a line from these then, obviously I know they're not implemented in just yet. I know they're not implemented in. But I could start with... So obviously this comes this way round. Comes down to there. I can have a little one that just does a little loop like that. I don't know whether that's going to be worth it though. Unless it kind of comes... Oh no, the greater one comes round like this. Does the big loop like that. I can even get it to kind of come down, hit there. Kind of slightly come back in and up. But I do need something that kind of hits that point though. That's going to be quite important for us. As well as maybe having a stop here. Or going back that way. So if it was, oh, actually, if it was to go back that way, I could do a double crissy-crossy there. But the implementation of bringing it in gets a little bit confusing. So, okay, right. Without me doing anything right now, let's just get all these now hooked up. So we'll go through each one first. Unhook you. Unhook you. I'm assuming that's the one I'm unhooking. Unhook. Unhook. And there's this one just down here. Unhook. So I then should be very able and easy to delete. those little bits and bobs. One just here. Just there. And then just there. So if I was to implement then a run, so if I went here, which obviously we'll get to here. Now I have the option there to initially come down this way and then go that way and then round. That's a simpler ferry system which won't take too much away from us. That would kind of, it enables us to kind of have a couple of passengers on this line. It won't be, huge amounts of ferries on this. It would be just enough to kind of take a little bit of the edge off other lines. Right, ferry pathway. So then I've also got to bring it up this way, which is kind of going to slightly delete, even with the anarchy, that weird power system I've got going through. Oh no, it stays. Okay, it stays. So yeah, that ferry line right now should now auto update to go down here, turn to go round. So if I fast forward to give it a second to update, I've also got to make sure that the boats, so line details, are the blick spree ones. Has that now updated? Why is this not updated now? There we go, it's now updated. So, a very simple route, okay? Nothing crazy. It will take a few people off that route. Then we go for a... I mean, I could go for like another smaller one. So if I went there to here to then here and back. So I'm kind of now dividing these little routes all up. Which means I can then implement a crisscross just there for those two lines. Which can have crisscrosses there for, additional lines moving in the future. So I'm just I'm pre-planning, right? I'm just getting like some skeleton routes all down right now before we do all the big crissy-crossies. Now this green route here doesn't really crisscross with anybody at the moment. Like you can't transfer from one line to another, which is why I've got to add a little bit more onto this. And then we've got to integrate it a little bit more within the city itself. So I want to do like the big version. So if I create a new line and then do all of this, add a stop. Obviously, it comes down here. I could either make it run through there, or I also then bring it down to here, which this will then crisscross with the green line on multiple stops eventually. Now, am I throwing too much onto these lines? Too much stress is the question. I'm looking for stops right now. So that could go to there. I could bring in the red to here. So where am I running with this? That's what I need to now know. Because we start it on that one. I do want it to kind of... If anything, it would be kind of cool to bring it up here to kind of turn in. Again, to take a little bit of the heat away from some of the other ones. So it would stop there. I could get it to run down all of this. But I have that fear that I'm adding too many lines on that. To then go back that way. Because this is like a wider outer loop. You know what I mean? Or I could bring it into there. To stop there. Which will also then add another stop here. Unless I just add it to here. Right, I'm going to add it to there. Right, but if I can do this, get rid of the red. So the red actually goes up into here. So the red goes around this way, creates a bigger loop just there. So we're trying to intertwine crisscross more. Now, these are not my final stops. I've got to add a lot more stops on. But I'm just trying to get multiple routes to go in the same direction and eventually crisscross in different directions. So if that's the case, then we've got a big loop there because the original blue one here acts as this loop here. So that red one I've just done is the same variation of the blue one over here that goes to the industrial area, just on the left side. So that works for us, but I need some going in the opposite direction right now. I got the clockwise, I need the anti-clockwise. Got the anti-clockwise, I need the clockwise variations of them. So I'm still going to implement a few more in. So let's first then place down where we're going to have a couple additional stops then. So I know I want another 2 just there, but I'm also going to need another 2 just here. So let's begin with the placement of this. So the next question would be, if I did an 11, and I did an 11 here, now that is a slight bridge that goes up and over, but I can bring... So I went by a 10 there, so you're kind of keeping your grid. But I'm getting the road close enough where I can do a stop here. So again, is that the 11? Yeah. Oh, this is going to be difficult now, isn't it? 10. Bam. It's slightly a bit diagonal, isn't it? And it's going to be a little bit difficult to fix. But the main point is, right, we're going to get a stop. Am I in the move it tool or something like that? Why can't I do this? What's going on? Oh no, I might even slipped on the stop. Oh, it's a little bit too far away. Okay, it's a little bit too far away on this one. But then even that, once I get it a little bit closer, I got to remember, I can't have it directly opposite. You've got to stagger it. Right, there we go. You've got to stagger it for it to snap on like that. Which I'm wondering if I can... I'm wondering if I reposition this. Okay, let me first put it there, because then I've got to reposition it again to snap on. So if I had it just there, alright, which I can just upgrade that road, which will allow me to have this one there, so they're not too far apart. And then we'll set something up where it also kind of integrates with the bridge, so they can walk over to get to the other side. So let me quickly unhook these. So unlock. Unlock. So for that one over here, I'm just going to upgrade the actual road itself. And then delete the additional road just there. So the ferry line's running on this right now. We have a blue one just here. We have a green one. And we have, obviously, the red one. So that enables us to have the crisscrossing the routes all over again. Which is perfect. Exactly what we need it to do. So that's going to implement itself just there. I feel like we're going to need one around here as well. Or whether I save that for until I've got the route coming down the opposite way. Because the blue turns there, the red goes straight ahead, and the green comes from this direction as well. So these crisscrossings are happening right in front of our eyes. Right, okay, so for the industrial area, we don't really have any ferries going up this way. Forget the blue one, because it's just that's the new route. The ferries are on their way. But I don't have any stops coming through. Now, I've got a stop there and there for the industrial. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement a stop here and here, which is the only place I can really pull it at the moment, because that's the only road I've got on the opposite side, which will allow me to then run another ferry route through the industrial area, but obviously going in the opposite way to enable us to have more capacity pushing through. Now, while that is in, I've then got to figure out where we bring in. So where we got this orange route coming down has a stop there. This route obviously will also go this way and then turn in that way. So it'll come up and it's got two options. It could either join the dark blue route to then come down, this way. Or I can make it come down this side where we don't have a route on, but I don't have any road on that side to connect to us at the moment. Because of the train line there, we're pretty isolated. Now I could push it with the dark blue route, where the dark blue route then kind of cuts in. This one's going to come down and then enter the city this way. Thus then meaning I I've got the stop there. I'll do another crissy-crossy just there. So we've got the crisscross for those routes, crisscross for the blue route here. Coming in is not my next issue, but my next project. Now I could add a stop just here for the crisscrossing happening here. And then I've got to get it to follow down the orange route. So rather than go down with all this, I could either try and service unused areas. Because to bring it down this way, I'm going to bring it down this way. Now we have a bus stop. Oh, that's perfect. I have a bus stop just there for the crisscross. I have these here. It doesn't directly crisscross, but we could make it crisscross on the green route. So passengers are able to switch and transfer, which then they will come down here, skadoodle this way, and connect back up. It's a big ask. There's a lot of ferry routes on the go right now, but I'm at to that point right now where the more I add in, the more traffic I'm gonna incur. So you gotta take it a little bit easier. Well, that stop is just there. Now with more routes coming down here, I can now implement this one in as well, which will be perfect. So routes there, obviously to here, and then I was going to come this way, but I'm going to take it this way to get multiple routes on this line. To there. We crisscross down here, which is perfect. Now, we were going to have a stop just there, but in a moment, we're just going to bring this into here. So then go to here, a new stop. So 2 new stops through here, to there, and then back in. Perfect. It's a lot to ask for, isn't it? It really is a lot to ask for. So just making sure that all of these are the B-slick ones. So it's going to now cause a lot of issues with some of the ferry lines, as they now have to then delete all the ferries and then implement the new ferries on the line. So it's going to ruin them. So lots going on. I need to add some power to a lot of them and the water so they're actually functional and people can actually use them. But let me just implement these ones here. Now, I don't know how this is going to go because of how close this area is to this. So I'm reckoning that if I did that and I did that, right. Let me first see if I can implement the stops on it. So one there, one there. We've got to stagger it quite bad. Unhook, unhook, delete you, and then just simply upgrade you. So I'm hoping here it's just your standard cross in. I'm wondering if I can also get away with just tidying up this area with a little bit of a bend. We can, but that bend's mental. Try and shorten it down a bit. There we go. And we'll kind of complete that a bit more. Now, for this, if I just kind of actually get this to extend a little bit more just to there. So hopefully, oh, I was going to say squeeze in that a bit better. But I don't know, because that's now kind of hooked itself over as a connection. And we'll start a little bit of a bend just there. Right, pause quickly because I got to delete that to implement that in. So that actually gives me a little bit more room to play with, which that's really worked out fairly well. So let me just paint the rest of this in. There we go, so we're not really missing anything. And then the ferry lines. So that brand new orange one, the blue and the red, well, pinky reddy one, I'm not sure what colour you would call it. There we go. Now we'll stop here as well. Now we've got to do a crissy-crossy over, which we'll get to at some point. Let me just now implement all the power and water to these new lines that we've now created. So water down to them. Run the water down very loosely. I'm placing this. There we go. And obviously they're going to need power. They're going to need power. So that one's got it. This one then needs it next. These guys over here need the power. Just implement it to there. This one over here needs some power. So until zoning and stuff reaches it, this is just how we're going to have to fill the voids. So everywhere's now covered. So those new lines are going to be up and running, no problemos, he says. We're still going to have problems, don't get me wrong. Alright, let me see what I can do here then for some... So that's a 10 from there. And then when does it start to change? So the spacing's all off anyway. So a 30. So if I do a 20, cut it in. So that's our little connection there. If I do a 30, is that connection a bit too close? Well, it should be then about a 20 away from there, so it kind of works out, like I said. We'll end that here by a 15. Just kind of end that run, but creating this connection there just so we are connected to that area. So down to there's a 50. So if I then do another 10, bam. 20, bam. We're connected in. So they can walk around. It's a little bit far at the moment, but at least this is all connected for getting people to and from if they want to use it. I don't know if anyone's going to use it just yet until I get more connections down. But at least the option is currently there. Now, gotta give it time. With this new updated route, you throw it stopping, it's going to cause a little bit of backlog. But eventually, once I do a couple of cycles, it will, you know, space everybody out a lot more evenly. So this is great. Again, more people using these takes away from people from other lines. Perfect. We've got to stop over here. We've obviously got to stop over here, where this place was once complaining about not enough customers. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, even 4 stops all around around it. So it makes shopping very, very viable for those guys. It really does. So the only thing I've got to then do after is making sure that I've got enough ferries for the demands. Now, I'm not quite sure how they're meant to get to this bridge because it's kind of sunken. And I'm not expecting there to be a lot of people using these because there's no really on this ferry at the moment. 6 people on this one, but I don't expect them to get off this line. Like I said, until I've built up more around these areas and we do more walkway. Oh, did you not stop? You're the red, aren't you? Okay, so the red line is not connected there. We kind of missed out on that one, didn't we, boys? We kind of missed out on that one. A couple of people getting off there. Glorious. So you're not going to see many. It is a farming area, but we've got to give them coverage. Because at the same time, when I build more in this area, we'll have ferry stops on the opposite side. So we get both sides of traffic as we then lead them over to these areas. So that's what we've got to make sure that we do. That's the reason why we got to set it all kind of up like this. Anyway, this is going pretty good. Now, how has our little experiment over here gone? So switching this out from an airport cargo terminal to a normal one, and this one, seems to complement each other pretty well, and we're not seeing many issues anymore. Now, you didn't really see them at the start of the episode. I know it was really bad, but I feel like this works a lot better. So this is what I'm going to do. You're going to hear it here first, guys, okay? You're going to hear it here first. Your boy Seniac, now moving on in the future, will no longer use cargo airports at cargo airports. I mean, cargo terminals at cargo airports. You heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first. Don't get it twisted. Okay? You heard it here first. It's a weird one. I feel like they're broke and they refuse to fix it. Because I remember when I did the Foolsopolis, remember that series, guys? The Foolsopolis? I had the same issue there, where I had to create some very elaborate setups just to get the cargo terminal up for the airport working. And this is one thing I never thought to do. This is one thing I never thought to do. It's just annoying. It's just annoying, you know, when you think the game's going to work a certain way and it doesn't. Same in Dead End. I implemented these in the Dead End series. Remember that, guys? And it never worked there. Oh my goodness, I'm having flashbacks to all the times I've had this problem. Many years. Many years. But that's a little bit better. So hopefully we're now all functioning a little bit more properly. Okay, glorious, 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 glorious. So we still got some more demands, so I can now creep up with some more zoning. Do I now implement this in for some type of bend? 6 by 6 to end it just there to keep the flows going? I think so. I think so. So implement all this in. For days, we're going to have to get rid of these power lines here. I know I've literally just placed them in, but we'll reposition them right now. Oh, do you know what? The power connects anyway, so these will eventually be gone. It's just the ferry line here needs them. Oh, I don't think I want commercial, residential just there. Lots of residential now being placed down, which is pretty good to see. Finalise a little bit more of this around here. So pretty much all filling it up. Going down to there with residential. Not bad. Getting more people moved in. I like it. I like it a lot. So now all this is rocking and rolling. Let's check these new lines that I've implemented in for the ferry systems. So public transport, ferries, sorted by line name. So in terms of vehicles then, and these new lines I've just implemented, we've got, is it line 4? No, this is what I implemented last episode, isn't it? Yeah, that's got all of them on. We got line 5, which is definitely a new one. Now, it doesn't have too many people on the route. This one's got 48 people on it had there. So it doesn't have too many people on the route. It's manageable at the moment. So I think that one is suitable for now with the 4 ferries on. Line 6. Again, not many on. Now, these are the 2 lines, including the next red one, that go to near the farming industry. So you're going to see, you might see some stops closer to the city busier than the ones closer to the farming area. But that's okay, because we've only got really borderline nothing on the go here. I can reduce it maybe down. I can reduce it down to 1, but I'm going to do 2, just so we got like a little bit more frequency of ferries coming along those stops. And we have to reevaluate it in the future when we're going to have more passengers on. This one's got, oh my goodness me, why such the big gaps? Something don't seem right now. Why is that such a big gap between stops? So if I went to this one, which is here, this next stop is then there. Why is it so big on this? It makes it feel like it's like a million miles away. This could actually do with a lot more ferries on the system because of this stop here, which is just there. So we'll bulk this up for an extra 5. We'll double the capacity on there, which should work out pretty well for us. And then finally, line 8. And again, this is going to be a very, very busy one because this tears through the middle of the city as well. We currently have over 1,000 people waiting at this stop here, which is... Oh, this is the one that leaves this area. So this is technically the quicker route because it enters into the city. So in reality, we're going to need probably... I'm going to add an extra 14 on. That's a lot of ferries. And is this next busy one this one over here? Where's that one? Oh, it's the one in the industrial area. So that's quite an important route that Orange are on because not only does it's the first stop into the city from this direction, we also have a stop over here, which will benefit from the crisscross from the buses, and it is the opposite way in to the industrial area. So again, it's very, very important for those guys. Now, me doing all this will also take some ferries away from some of the other routes, okay? Like the blue line, the original one that went through the industrial area. You now probably see You probably don't need as many ferries on this route. 23, to be honest with you, we're actually almost manageable. Before, we had too many passengers for what the line needed. But I'm going to give it time anyway, because it takes a while for the game to settle into some of the new stuff that you've implemented. And then we can really start to see then how these changes have affected us. Now, we're going to cut up a couple of garbage issues dotted around right now. So I could implement in a few extra, but I'm going to need to build a garbage processing facility over on this side somewhere to access all these areas. I mean, I could build it. I mean, to be honest with you, it looks like we need one up here. I'm not going to lie with you right now. I can actually build it up here, but I don't want the pollution to affect too much. Right, we'll say that for another episode because we're going to have to do some grand plans to get that all up and running. We really are. Now, in reality, to access this area via vehicle, right, I've just noticed the only way to get in is via this tunnel here, which is probably going to put a lot more pressure on this area. There's a highway connection there, and over here to access through here. Now, if I built a bridge or two, the problem I would have is then all the vehicles will want to use it, which is probably why we got such demands on the ferry system, especially here. Now, we got a lot of ferries here lining up. Who are you and where you come from? We need the orange route ferries. Where are they? Are they slowly? They're slowly on their way, aren't they? They're slowly making their way around and we start seeing the bulk of people being transported. But we're going to need an additional route, by the looks of it, to handle that demand. So where could I take an additional route following the orange route going from that direction? Maybe coming from the right. So if I... okay. So if I start there... Right, let's say I came in from the orange direction. Stop there. I'll probably have to have another stop here at some point. Come in to then stop there. So we're picking up the outer region here. To then go back in that way. To then come back this way. But the system, the line that comes this way is this orange one. And it only comes in from that way. So it'd be nice to have one stop there. To follow the procedures down. To have that crisscross from here to this direction. Now I can do that. That's not a problem. It will stop there. And I've got the option to then stop here. Follow the two stops of the orange route. Would probably be the way forward. For now, considering. So if I had to stop here. So it's a bright pink route so we can see where it's going. Stop there. Following the route of the orange. To again take a little bit more heat off it. So then as it comes down, it's going to then stop here. So it's the only ferry line that brings passengers from there over to here. Because we've only got one going that way. So that's quite an important route. Stop in there. Stop in here. And then it'll finish up there. So it crosses the line coming down there that goes that way. The line that comes this way and goes that way. So it bridges this gap. Once I get a little bit of a crisscross there. Because we then have the red route that can do a double stoppage. You see how everything all intertwines and connects right now? It's absolutely amazing. I'm well impressed. So this new line, the Blick ferry system. So that'll take a little bit of the heat off the amount of passengers waiting here. Because now we can divide it between the two lines. You just got to give them the time. Now I know there's a little bit of backlog there, but give it time. It will eventually pass all through. Because when they back up like this... Then, as they have to wait, it's creating the timed space. Which is what we're after. And then give it a couple of cycles, then everyone's spaced out quite nicely. But we have so many ferries now going through New Amsterdam. This is the mode of transport that I wanted, and it is now absolutely working. The trains and the cargo is working beautifully. Everyone's ticking along. I've just got garbage issues that I need to solve next episode. Yes! I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. These canals are definitely working. They're definitely working. So it would be nice to have come from different angles and different routes because it's very heavily. You can see here. It'd be nice if I can eventually get that connected to there and have like a bigger route that kind of goes around. Get a route from over here that cuts through a bit more and stuff like that without going through there. You got to cover all kind of angles and aspects of the travel. And try and do a couple of new routes that don't integrate on current routes, so we're not having the backlog of ferry systems on the go. But you can see all these new ones now coming in going this way. Oh, damn, it's beautiful. It's beautiful but chaotic all at the same time. It really is. So, as the city slightly grows a little bit more, on the way to 50,000 residents, we'll hopefully get this all finalized here next episode, because that will implement the double stop over there, which will give us more coverage for the airport and for the new crisscrossing on the lines, which is perfect. We're going to build a garbage facility again, which will be absolutely freaking glorious. And we're going to be underway. Do we have a line going this way? We don't, which is another thing that we're going to have to add in. Coming down there, we're going to create like an inner loop this way. It'll all be intertwined and connected, guys. It really, really will. I'm surprised people are using this, because it doesn't really go anywhere at the moment, does it? It doesn't really go anywhere. It's a long walk to wherever you're going. But it opens up this area to work with anyway next episode, so the expansions do continue. I'm very happy. Very happy with how this is now progressing. I feel like we've solved some issues. We've created a couple of areas to kind of connect to, and really expanded our public transport, which only helps and aids the reducing traffic and the connectivity of areas. So for now, guys, I believe we will end it for here. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode. If you did, smash the like button down below. Until next time, I see you all soon. So